Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we'll look at root path in Flask. I've already opened the project folder in VS Code L12, and if you notice there is additional subfolder in this which is named as data, and in this folder there is a file called info.txt, and this file has some text I copied from Wikipedia about Flask, and I'll explain why we have that file there. So let's go ahead and open a new file and call it app.py. Now we'll create that file um, outside of this. So let me go ahead and create a file this way, which is app.py, and it should sit outside of the data folder. So app.py, there you go. Now in this file we'll write our usual code, but this time we'll use the root path, and the reason for that is Flask knows that it should look for the static folders for CSS, JavaScript or image files, and then templates folder for the HTML files. But it is also possible that you have some additional files that need to be used in your project, and those could be kept in separate folders to which the Flask by default would not know the path to, and this is where the root path comes in. So that's, let's say data is the custom folder we are talking about, which has the info.txt file. And what we'll do now is we'll, as usual, write our code in app.py. Start with importing Flask. So let's do that. From Flask, import Flask with a capital F, and then we are going to import OS. And the reason why we need OS is because we are going to use the os.path.join to create the path. And as usual, we will initialize the app first by typing app is equal to Flask and underscore underscore name in the parenthesis, which is the input argument. And we can print, so let's go ahead and do this, print a Flask app root path, and here we can specify app dot root underscore path. Well, let's convert this to an f string. So that is what we have, and now we'll create our decorator app dot root or route, and here we just have a single forward slash, which refers to just this URL that we will be running when the Flask app runs. Then we create the function home, and within this is where we are going to use the app.root path. So we'll create a file path, file underscore path is equal to os.path.join, and here we say app.root underscore path, and then we tell, hey, in the root folder, which is the L12, there is a folder called data, and in that folder there is a file called info.txt that I'd like you to use, and this is what we are going to use now. And we'll use a try except block. This is just to try, and then you have except. uh, if you are familiar with base Python, this is just to tell that if whatever we write in the try block does not work or results in an error, then just run the except block, but do not crash the code, complete running the entire code. So in the try block, we are going to type with open, and here we'll specify the file path. So what we are using is a simple with context manager, which is to say that we are using with open file path to open the file in read only mode. That's why we type R in quotes, and we abbreviate that as F. And inside of this block, then we read the content. So content is equal to f dot read, and then what we do is return the content. So f, and then within quotes we can type the heading h1, and again we can close the heading by forward slash h1, like so. And within inside of this we type the heading. So heading is contents of info.txt. So that's the heading we have, and after the heading we have another angled brackets pre, and this is where we put the content that we read from the info.txt file, and close that off with forward slash pre. And in the except we can say that if the file does not exist in that particular folder, we'll say file not found error. So this is the standard error, and if that happens, then we simply return a heading with h1 that that says info.txt not found, and we close that off with forward slash h1. Then we can create another decorator, app dot and route, and here we can specify something called as show route. So if we navigate to this page, show route, then or show route, then we should be able to see the path. So def show route, and we specify the return, and this is just an app string. The route path is within curly braces app dot route underscore path, and that's about it. And here we say if underscore name underscore is equal to main. So just two the underscores, and then main, then app dot run debug is equal to true. Right, so that's all the code we need to type. With this, if we now go to our terminal and type python app.py, and you see that Flask is now running, and this is the URL we need to go to, which I already have here. So just press enter, and we can see that the contents of the info.txt are read here. So that's the info.txt, and that's the text. So what we were able to do using the app.root path is direct Flask to a custom folder to find a file, app info.txt, read contents of that file, and send it back to the front end. So sort of root path is helping Flask on the backend side to find files or folders that are custom, and then use that information to show it back to the user. So that was it for this video. I hope in this lesson or video you learned what is root path, and thank you